My name is Charlie Philpott, and I have been chairman of the board for the Electric Railroad Museum for about 10 years. The Oregon Electric Railroad Historical Society was founded 50 years ago by a group of people that wanted to preserve the heritage of electric railways, especially streetcars, collect them and restore them and demonstrate them for the public to try to explain that history, or that part of our history. One of the important parts of the history of electric railroads was their influence on the way cities were developed, especially in the West. Cities that began to develop seriously in the 1890s, 1900s were developed more as groups of satellite communities, not just one large city where everybody lived and worked. Streetcars in the collection came from several places. One very common way to get a streetcar for a museum is to be notified that a streetcar company is scrapping their streetcar system. And they offer it to the museum for a dollar, and we put the money together to transport that car to our collection. Now, most of those cars would come to us operational, but in very, very poor condition. The collection we have today represents a time sequence from 1890 to 1972.
This was owned by the Great Northern Railway, who owned Oregon Electric, which ran just west of us about a quarter mile or so. And you could take a sleeper car between Portland and Eugene. How about that? On a trolley line. I think they padded the schedule so that in Albany you got the layover so you didn't have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
It's not a collection that just represents Oregon or Northwest streetcars, but we do have examples of the technology as it evolved from the early 1900s up to 1972. The last of that time sequence is the first light rail car made in the world, made by Boeing Corporation.
This is built by the Boeing Company in 1977, and then it went to San Francisco, and they ran it with trolley poles, and so we decided we put the trolley poles back to run it here. Right now it's in the process of being repainted, and you can see that we've started in on the preparations.
Each of the power museums at Powerland has a group of volunteers. It allows people with all kinds of skills to get involved, because it's not just one skill to restore a streetcar. In many, many cases, they love to talk to the public. They love to talk about streetcars, how people lived in the early 1900s, and that relationship with cars, how kids got to school, how dad got to work, and so on and so forth. So if you get on a trolley when you come into Powerland and take it around to the car barn, we can get off and tour the car barn.